Good morning, children. Today we'll discuss about 7th standard topic, that is nutrition in plant. So we are going to study about nutrition in plants. So before going to study about nutrition in plants, we must know about nutrients. Why nutrients are so important? Okay, so nutrients, the components of the food like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals are called nutrients. These are very important for the overall development of the organisms. Okay, so nutrients help living organisms in what way? So it is going to help to build their bodies. Organisms going to build their bodies by taking these nutrients. And second point, to grow. To grow, it is must and should. Okay, to repair the damaged parts of the body. So if any injury occurs, that will be repaired by taking a food which consists of nutrients. Okay, to provide energy to carry out life processes. All life processes need energy. Okay, so that energy is provided by the nutrients. So all biological process means digestion, excretion, okay, uh, respiration, all includes what biological life processes. Okay, they need a help of energy. That energy will come only from the nutrients. Okay, so next comes nutrition. What do you mean? What is nutrition? The mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization in the body is called nutrition. So nutrition means not only taking the food, whatever the food that we take, it has to be digested, it has to be utilized properly by the body. That is that process we call it as a nutrition. The process of taking a food by an organism and utilizing in the body is called nutrition. So mode of nutrition, see children, nutrition mode of nutrition is not same in all the cases. It will be different. There are two main modes of nutrition in living organisms. They are autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is a nutrition in which an organism can prepare their own food. So auto means self, athwa auto means same. Okay, auto means self, tropic means nutrition, self nutrition, it is autotrophic nutrition. So best examples for autotrophs are plants, because plants synthesize their own food, okay, by a process called photosynthesis using chlorophyll. That is why they are called as autotrophs. Heterotrophic nutrition, in nutrition in which organisms get their food directly or indirectly from plants, directly or indirectly from the plants. Such nutrition is called heterotrophic. Some animals directly depends on plants, some will not depend on plants, but indirectly they dependent on plants. How? For example, herbivorous animals depends directly on the plants, but carnivorous will not eat plants, but it will eat herbivorous. So this is how animals may depend directly or indirectly on the plants. Okay, so this is about heterotrophic nutrition. So organisms which get their food directly or indirectly from the plants are called heterotrophs. Hetero means different. Okay, so or depends on other, so that is what called heterotrophic nutrition. So next comes photosynthesis, because in autotrophs there is a process called photosynthesis. With that photosynthesis, food is going to be prepared. So food is made by using a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means it is a process by which plants prepare their own food. Okay, prepare their own food by using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll. So this is what we call it as photosynthesis. It is a process in which plants prepare their own food by a process using using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll. Photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. As you know that leaves are called kitchen house of the cell. Okay, we call it as a kitchen house of the cell because in leaves food is prepared. How in kitchen food is prepared? Like that in the plant body, food is prepared in the leaves. That is why it is called kitchen house of the cell. So, okay, photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. Okay, first point, sunlight is obtained from the sun. So we are going to get this sunlight from the, means plant usually get sunlight from the sun itself. Second point, water is absorbed by the roots and transported to the leaves. Water is going to be absorbed by the roots and then it is transported to the leaves by a process called transpiration pull. Okay, what happens from the bottom of the soil, means plant body, that is a root system, water is sucked and it will be translocated to the different parts of the body. Okay, it is under the with the help of a transpiration pull. Okay, so that is how the water is being translocated. Then carbon dioxide is taken from the air through small pores in the leaves called stomata. So stomatas, here in the picture you can see a kidney shaped cells, a pair of kidney shaped cells called stomata. These stomata will help in what? Exchange of gases. Opening and closing help in exchange of gases. Carbon dioxide and oxygen is being exchanged in the with the help of these stomata. So in the picture you can see very clearly. Okay, it is a microscopic diagram where you can see the stomatas embedded in the what we call it as cells of leaves. That is what? Stomata. Chlorophyll are a green color pigment present in the leaves. That is why leaves are green in color. Leaves are green in color, and even in microscopic observation also you can see the green pigment over there. Okay, the green pigment is due to the what? Chlorophyll. See children, even in some plants which looks reddish brown or yellow color, okay, even leaves are also like that, but little amount of chlorophyll will be present in those plants also. That is why photosynthesis is possible. Okay, so in all plants, almost all plants will have a chlorophyll, hence synthesize their own food, hence they are called autotrophs. So you can see very clearly stomata here, stomata are there, stomatas are will be present in the leaves. Okay, and even you can see the what we call it as a cross section of leaf and how exactly the stomatas are present in the leaves, that you can see it very clearly in the picture. Okay, so chlorophyll use energy from the sunlight to prepare food by using water and carbon dioxide. The food prepared is carbohydrate which is then converted into starch. During this process, during photosynthesis, oxygen is released. See children, you can see very clearly carbon dioxide means CO2 plus water H2O. In presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, carbohydrate plus oxygen. Carbohydrate which is prepared here usually we used to write as starch. Okay, in plant the carbohydrate which is stored in the form of a carbohydrate called starch. So starch is going to be produced along with oxygen. So here in the picture you can see the plant will get energy from the sun. Okay, plant will take CO2 from the atmosphere. Okay, then water and minerals everything is taken through the root system. Okay, then chlorophyll will be present in the plant body. Then after that the process will carry on and oxygen is released and the formation of a what? Carb means production of a carbohydrate takes place. So this is what we call it as a photosynthesis. Okay, so this is what we call it as a photosynthesis. It takes place in presence of sunlight. Okay, next comes synthesis of protein. Soil has some bacteria which convert nitrogen from the air into usable nitrogen in the soil. This I told you. Okay, plant will not take directly nitrogen gas. If plant needs nitrogen, it cannot take directly it in the gaseous form. Okay, so it has to be taken through the soil only. Farmers also add fertilizers containing nitrogen into the soil. Okay, so what farmers will do, they will add a nitrogen to the to the soil, so that through the soil it will go, okay, into the soil. Plants absorb this nitrogen from the soil along with the water and other constituents to prepare proteins and fat. So in the plant, whatever protein or the fat which we are going to see, usually it is taken, means the main component like nitrogen. In protein, the main element which is present is nitrogen. That nitrogen comes from the soil only. From the soil it goes to the it is going to be prepared into proteins. Okay, proteins consist of amino acids. Amino acids will have a what, nitrogen. So nitrogen is very important. In the picture you can see, these are the pea plant is there at the center. Pea plant is there. Okay, leguminous plants these are. Okay, you can see in the last picture that root nodules. In the nodules, each nodule will have a rhizobium bacteria. That rhizobium bacteria will convert atmospheric nitrogen gas into nitrate. That nitrate is going to be taken up by the plant by a process called taken through the taken by the plant through the root system. Okay, this is about synthesis of proteins. Okay, next, other modes of nutrition in plants. So what kind of other modes of nutrition in plants are? Parasitic plants. Will go for parasitic plants. So autotrophic we have seen. Parasitic mode of nutrition, what happens, which depends completely on others. Okay, so plants which do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food, they get their food from the plants called host. Here host and guest relationship will be there. Okay, so it cannot prepare their own food, it depends completely on the other plant. That is why they are called parasitic plants. Cascata, it is a amarbel. So in the picture you can see cascata plant. So this is depends on other plant. Okay, that is why we call it as a parasitic plants. Okay, but here the parasite which depends on the host, one plant will be host, on that this parasite will be dependent. This parasite is called guest here. Okay, but the thing is, host is not benefited but guest is benefited. Okay, sometimes even the host is harmed. Okay, that is why in parasitic relationship what happens, guest is always benefited, host is harmed. Okay, that is how parasitic mode of nutrition. Then insectivorous plant. So in the picture you can see very beautiful insectivorous plants, or plants, insectivorous plants which feed on insects. Example, picture plant. You can see picture plant very clearly. Okay, the leaf of the picture plant is modified into pitcher. The end of the picture has lid. You can see lid in the picture. Okay, in the second diagram you can see it very clearly. Picture has a lid which can open and close when the insects enters the picture. So when insect comes and sit, usually it is very attractive. See, look at the color, it is very beautiful, and that is why insects are being attracted very easily. So insects will come and sit on this picture plant, and there will be a sticky substance, and insect will penetrate inside. Okay, as and when the insect enters inside, the lid will close. Okay, and then that insect is being digested by the digestive juices present in the picture plant. So this is how plant will fulfill its nitrogen essential. Okay, this is how insectivorous plants, even these plants are called carnivorous plants because even it depends on insects. Okay, there are picture plants which even trap what we call rats, squirrels, okay, like that. So this is about insectivorous plants. Saprophytes, so everybody know about the saprophytes. In the picture you can see mushroom also. Okay, so saprophytes are the which do not have chlorophyll. Okay, non green color plants you can say, or do not have, they look like a plants but not a plant because you can say non green plants. Okay, they do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food. They get their food from the dead and decaying organic matter. Example, mushroom. So everybody know about mushroom bread mold. Okay, on the bread you can see, if you keep bread in the kitchen without closing it in a proper way, after few days you can see patches over the bread. It is a fungal, that is a bread mold we call it as. Okay, so if you closely observe that bread, you can see tree like structures. Okay, non green color tree like structures, those are nothing but the fungal. Okay, or we can say fungus. Okay, even mushroom you can see with your naked eyes very clearly. Okay, in the picture center you can see the picture of a mushroom. Okay, umbrella like structure will be there, that is a mushroom. Okay, it is also saprophyte. They produce a digestive juice on the dead and decaying organic matter and convert it into a solution and then absorb the nutrients from the solution. So this is how these saprophytes help in converting dead and decay matter. Okay, after converting that dead and decay matter will enter into the soil. Okay, and then soil will be enriched with the what nutrients. So you can say saprophytes are useful to the human beings also. But some saprophytes like if you take a bread mold, okay, after that is bread mold, if you eat that bread, there may be a chances of food poison. That is why the even dead and decay, it acts, even though it acts as a dead and decay matter, but some, if it is on the food material, okay, definitely it causes health problems. Okay, next, symbiotic relationship. So this is, I told you, some plants live together and share shelter and nutrients. Example, lichens. In lichens, an algae, lichens means an algae and a fungus living together. Okay, so fungus provides a shelter, water and minerals to the algae. Alga provides food to the fungus, which is prepared by the photosynthesis. Here there is a combination of algae and fungi. Algae will provide food because algae can prepare the food because algae has a chlorophyll, whereas the fungus is not having a what chlorophyll, it depends on the algae. Okay, this is how you can, over the tree you can see the patches like this. These are nothing but lichens, we call it as a lichens. This is a symbiotic relationship. If you go to deep forest, you can see plenty of such symbiotic relationship. Okay, if you go to Dandeli forest, there if you go little bit inside, okay, not roadside, if you go to a little bit inside, you can see many of what lichens, that is a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so even these are indicators of pollution. Okay, if you just look at the roadside, you can see lichens there, but the thing is that lichens are of not this color. Okay, because of smoke, that color will be changed. If you go deep into the forest, you can see pictures like this, that is the lichens symbiotic relationship. Okay, last concept, that is how nutrients are replenished in the soil. So this is a very important. Plants absorb nutrients from the soil. Okay, plants absorb nutrients from the soil. So the nutrients in the soil decreases. So farmers add manures and fertilizers to the soil to increase the nutrients in the soil. So children, what if you go on growing the crops continuously, okay, what happens one fine day? That soil will not have proper nutrients, because only getting a crop is not important. So if you add fertilizers or manures along with the crop, then definitely you can get a proper yield, that is about uh, nutrients. Okay, then bacterium called rhizobium, just now I told you, which lives in the roots of the leguminous plants like grams, peas, beans, etc., convert nitrogen gas from their air, the soluble form, in the soil, and makes the soil rich in nitrogen. In return, plant provides food and shelter to the bacteria. So there will be a symbiotic relationship. Even symbiotic relationship is also called mutualism. Mutualism means both are benefited. Here host and guest both are satisfied or both are benefited. Okay, so one is dependent on other. Rhizobium bacterium, which is present in the root nodules of the plant. See, just look at the last picture, you can see root nodules. In the root nodules you can see rhizobium bacteria. This rhizobium bacteria depends on the plants for shelter and food. Okay, but at the same rate, this rhizobium will take help, okay, and it will convert nitrogen gas to nitrate. This help that rhizobium is going to do to the plant, and the plant will gain benefited. Plant will get nitrogen. Okay, then this rhizobium will get a food and shelter. This is what we call it as a symbiotic relationship. This is how the nutrients are replenished in the soil. Okay, thank you.